me, but this is, and oh, have wood block stamps is what they call them. This is part. This is part of the Bold Blossom greetings. And right now, what I'm gonna do, and I think these are all mixed up. My grandkids have played in these and everything else, but I just think it's really cool that this one's from 1997, and all you do is like you get your ink on it, and then you press it on the paper, and the company Stampin' Up, I believe they're still in existence, and they have all kinds of cards. I've been kind of stamping on this one right now. I'm trying to see if any of my inks work. And you take your card, and one of their things that they would do is like they would put one stamp, like say it was the scarecrow, put it right here, glue it down, and then you could open it, and they have all these features and stuff. But I was pretty basic. But we're gonna just, if you've never heard of stamping, they have all kinds of things. This right here is a border roller, and you could buy different wheels and this is a whole stamp right there, but it's just this design. So these are gonna be some ways that I personally can. I'm not doing any actual designs. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if my ink pads still work, because I have not used these ink pads for years. And I told my husband, if these actually work, it does look like they do, then these are the brand to get, because these have been in a box, in a tote. How long, Roger?
How long? Been in a tote?
Yeah. I'd say at least probably 20
years.
I was doing them for about 5 years, and I'm just kind of getting in that creative mode. I always get in the creative mode around winter time. Look, Roger.
One worked?
It works. Blue. This blue works. Now I rolled over that and kind of messed up the design, but what I'm trying to do is just roll out all of the ink off of it, and that was quite a bit of ink. And then my favorite thing, I was talking to my son about it. I was like, man, I remember you guys, this thing, you would fill this with water, and you would, what do you need, Mom? Okay, I'll get her some. Hopi. She's been very needy tonight. She needed me to move all the pillows and blankets off of the couch so that she could get up on the couch. All right, you guys, this is a good brand right here. This is, ooh, it's called Stays On, and it's teal. And I guarantee you, I don't know if there's a date on this, is there? It's fast drying solvent ink. And I'm sorry, I can't find a date on it. But this I have had for probably 20 years, still juicy. That is incredible. Now this is, we'll test this one. This one's gonna be Stamp Affair. Now these are not Stampin' Up brands. I'd always go and buy these at Hobby Lobby or different stores because I would want them right then, or I'd want a certain color. But I didn't pay, you know, a whole lot of money for them. Let's try this in the orange, just to be fair. We'll try to see if the orange works. And this is from Stamp Affair. This is pretty, this is just an interesting, and I decided this would be something just for everybody to kind of get in on with me here. Let's see if the orange works from Stampin' Affair. It works. You guys, this works. That is incredible. Now, this is not my actual design. It may turn into a cute design. I doubt it, but this is me testing ink pads from 20 years ago. Now, here is Stays On Midnight Blue. Now, this says solvent ink, and if I remember right, I would get the solvent because I remember thinking it was good on fabric. But I guess it also, it says fast drying. And I don't even know if this company is still in existence. I'm telling you, these are probably anywhere from 20 to 25 years old. And I can't say for sure because I just haven't been stamping. And look, that other one, it didn't have this little lid on the stamp pad. But anyway, my kids would do these with me, and this is the same exact, you can tell it's pretty beat up. But this is a stamp cleaner. I don't have any liquid in it to clean, so I'm gonna just run the ink out of my roller each time. This is, what color is this one? Midnight blue. The other one was teal. I guarantee you I was doing some Christmas cards. I have not used these for, oh wow, it still works, guys. Okay, this is the brand that you want to get if you're a stamper or if you're interested in getting into stamping. Oh man, this makes me want to get back into stamping. Stampin' Up is the name of the company, and I used to be a distributor just so I could get their kits at a good discount price. So, there is, we have two, or was it three? We have orange, teal, and blue. I can do a lot with orange, teal, and blue. Those are all working, you guys. Now, we might be getting tired of using this. So, and then you should always clean those off because there will be some residual. Clean them off in your little pad. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Yeah, I think you can. I'm gonna scoot it down a little. I think I'm off of the screen. Okay, so my husband brought me some paper. I didn't want to use my like fancy cardstock. So we are going to just, on this brown one, we're going to use some stamps. Hopefully the Stampin' Up cocoa color, which I know this is 25 years old. Hopefully it is, and how you do it is you press down on it and then you press your rubber part of your wood stamp, and it's nice because they have these grippers. That's why you want to get the wood block stamps. They come unassembled and you have to assemble them together, so you gotta be careful because that adhesive that is on the back of this rubber, it does not come off. That's once you set it down, so you want it to be centered in your block because then you can, let's see if the brown works. I think, to be honest, those three were a little bit newer and this was a whole lot more used, but we'll see. It worked, you guys. It worked. Pray God I can use these stamps. I've been wanting to use it. My granddaughter that is almost 4, she has never seen these stamps. She's gonna lose her mind when she sees them. She's very artistic. These wheels I used to love a lot. Come here, Hope. And these, they slide out, so it's like a color wheel. And if you use one color more than the other, here, let's use a different stamp so I can, this is from the Bold Blossom Greetings, but I think just the Happy Birthday was the only one out of these, and maybe this border. But 1997 stamps, you guys. These are, oh, look at that. That is juicy. Can you see that? How juicy that is? After 25 years. What? So then you want to just put it on your paper. And what you could do is you could make a border around your main message. Wow. I'm gonna put some cleaner. Let's see how well it does without the cleaner. My little scrub cleaner. Yeah, see, there's still ink on there. And I do need to, give me just a second. Anybody's birthday today? Give me just a second. I'm gonna, woo! Hold on. I just tripped over the, I'll be right back. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is so incredible. I'm gonna get some cleaner to, what happened to my cleaner? Oh, there it is. There are so many techniques that you can use for stamping. It's just like you can use like kind of a watercolor thing. I'll just show you as I go maybe, but okay. So what I'm gonna do, there is some ink in this. Obviously I didn't clean it very good, but if you spray this down real good, and then you need to, I just have like a industrial cleaner. Really, you could just use water and dish soap, but I'm gonna try to get that clean itself. And what you do is then you use a paper towel and stamp after you clean it. You don't want to use like anything like bleach or anything too harsh, because you'll tear, I mean, like, it'll tear down your scrubber, the scrubber part of it. It'll deteriorate. But look, hopefully that cleaned that off a little bit. These should be as clean as you can get them. My kids use these. The kids love these, by the way. They will do these all day long, you know, for those rain and snowy days. I can't tell what you guys are seeing now. I think I got out of the... Okay, let's scoot it over just a little bit. For anybody who's just coming on, we are checking my ink pads, but I forgot to get the cleaner part on here to clean the stamps off with. And I just don't even know if I need to check these stamp pads, to be quite honest. They're all working after 25 years. There is just no way. So see, this is how you want to, you kind of just take your ink pad and pull it off of the color wheel. We did the brown and now I'm doing the yellow, which you can see that got kind of, it on the color wheel, the green kind of bled a little bit. And that, I love how these slide in and out, and you just pull them out. Let me get my dry towel out of the way. That's for, okay. Then you take your paper. I don't really have this organized very much. I didn't really plan on doing this. And then you just, oh, I'm gonna be upside down. I didn't pay attention. You want to pay attention to that when you are actually stamping. Look, I think the green is a winner as well. So the dark, oh my goodness, you guys, I did not expect this. These still have ink in them. Ah, this makes me want to just stamp again. And then what I would do is I would get my book out. You always want to get your catalog. I'm sure they have one for the 2000 year. I'm being honest when I say I'm not even sure if they're still in existence. So you would have, can you see this? Let's see. Okay, right here, this dark color, you would have your dark colored cardstock. Then you'd have a piece of white paper, maybe a thinner cardstock, not, you know, super thin, but this would be a little bit thicker, higher pound cardstock. You'd buy some strings, and this is a paper punch you'd have, and you'd just have all your little supplies. That right there is a piece of kind of fibrous paper, and you could get it a little damp where you want to tear it, and then you just tear it and it makes that torn look, and you kind of layer all this together, and look, you made this little bookmark. On here, they tied a knot, pulled the string down, tied a knot, and that's one mat card with a white piece of paper. That's that torn piece, and then behind it is another piece of cardstock in green. This is kind of a brown. That's a green string. And then you would use your Thanksgiving and harvest stamp and layer the different stamps. I don't know if you can see this. So you would take this one and stamp it in orange. Then you'd take this one and stamp it on another piece of paper, cut it out, and apply it on there, kind of like a horn of plenty. I don't know if that's showing or not. Pull it down a little. And then you would have this piece, and you can see how they just cut it out and put it right there. And then you might use this vine piece and then stamp behind it. These probably 3 were stamped individually, cut out, and then just, you know, glued on with a glue stick. And then back there, they just put the vines, just a whole bunch of layering. You had your vines, your gourds. They didn't put any leaves on it, but they used the big old pumpkin. But here you have your sunflower stalk, your acorns, and oh my goodness, and your sunflowers. And you would just do it, and like here they just did a row, a row, a row. They cut one out and used it on the little, just to embellish that. They tied it with a string. And then this one right here is this stamp right there. And you could just, isn't that neat? But anyway, I really thought that I was going to be busy here. Oh, I can show you another technique. Doesn't this make you just want to get into it? This right here, I mean, you just get all these tools. This, you put a piece of cardstock through here and you clamp it down with this, clamp it, and then you take this part and spin it like this, and that piece of paper would go through this, and it would be a piece of cardstock that was crumpled, and you could use it also like behind instead of the torn paper, or you could do your plain matte on the bottom, then the crumpled, then the torn, and then this, and just make all of these different layers and embellishments. This one right here is a brayer, and when you had a multicolored stamp pad, and then you could do like this and just make like a sunset and roll it across. You can tell I've used that for the sunset many times. I have thought about selling my my Stampin' Up. This right here, you plug this in, and you turn this on, and you have your embossing, and it's kind of like the glitter effect. And that's where you would take a little bit of this, and look, it looks like it's still juicy. And then you would take a little bit of this and put it on your on this thing, I think it was, and then you would put your stamp into it, into the ink, and then you'd stamp it onto the page, and it would leave that glue. This is kind of a glue. And then you would sprinkle this on, okay? Then you'd shake it off, and then you would see the shape of whatever the stamp was. So it'd be this shape of these flower border. And then you would spray that, you would use the hot gun, and it would melt all that, and it looked like it was embossed. And it was the coolest thing. So I had a lot of that. This is 2 different embossing. It's called Emboss It. 2 different embossing pads, and I always had mine tinted because I could never see the clear color. And then I bought extra refill for my embossing pad because that was my favorite. I love to emboss like this for a wedding or something. And you take this rose. This is 1993. And then you would take your plain, let me see if I can find something in here that shows embossing. But you would take your plain paper, or your, like cardstock, and then you would, I'll show you in just a second. I'm looking for one that's embossed. I'm having a hard time finding embossing, and that was my favorite thing to do. I'm surprised. But you would, emboss that rose on there and then just put it on your pretty paper with, you know, maybe the color of whatever their wedding was going to be. I'm looking through here. I'm not seeing any embossing. Wow. This was when I lived on... I made this little tag stamping up my name, and I lived on 93 Eugene Field Road. And don't look at that house. I still have the same exact email though. Don't ever look at that house and think that that's the way it looked when we lived there, because it sure did not. I'm not finding any embossing. Maybe that was in the front? Or maybe that was just a technique they taught, but they didn't photograph it? That's crazy. This was so much fun. I'll do some actually look at this one. This one right here for Valentine's Day. You can tell they embossed right along the edge, and then they burned it, or you know, with that hot gun, and they did the I love you and embossed. But then they just stamped this. They cut these out. I hope you can see these. And then they cut out all of these. This was the Valentine set. Had all the little Lucky Charms, and they cut those out and put them in a little envelope on a card that probably, you know, you could even make it come out of there. Oh, here's more. This might, either that's a stamp, but you would want to emboss that right there and then cut that out and put it on top of your paper, your, I can't remember what they called that paper. I don't even think I don't have any in here, but you want to see? Oh my goodness, look at this. This one's clear embossing ink. That was Stampendous impressions every time. I don't know if this stuff still works. I've been going through everything in my house, and I got all this stuff out. I had thought about selling this stuff so many times because I really don't use it. But when I got this out, I've just got the bug. Look at that. Oh my goodness, how cute is that little alpaca? So I'll show you some of the stamps, and then I'll probably close it out here. See this one, You Warm My Heart, which I forgot to tell you, most of these did have a message. This was one of my favorite ones right here. I'm gonna move these out of the way. That best portion of a good man's life, his little nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and of love. You could do a whole scene, like a nature scene, with each. You could stamp this thing all the way across, and in the foreground, the background, and put your little plants and rocks and rain and clouds, and or you could have it sunny, rainbow. Anyway, that was an extensive set that I liked. I just like putting all the components together. This was another one of my favorites. You could stamp that one on there and emboss it, add your birdhouse, and then it says, "This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." I always loved the ones with the scriptures on it. And that scripture, I kept it with that one because I used it a lot. But anyway, look how yellowed these packages are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This came with 6 Say It With Scripture stamps. You can do them in any color. You can emboss them. This is a cheap set. This is the first set I got. It was a snowman, and it had some more little these kind of stamps. I think there was a heart and something else, and I've probably either put them in other sets. My kids get into them when they did get into them. I mean, and they would just tear them, and not tear them, Happy Mother's Day card. And then you got your whole alphabet that you could stamp, words of any words that you want, or names. But my kids, they wouldn't tear them up, but they would not put them back in the right. I mean, I really tried to teach them to do that, to put them back in the right sets. And sometimes I would even mix the sets up using a certain scripture with different sets. Here's another one of my favorite Look at these. You make me smile. Oh, happy day. I use that so much. Uh-oh, believe. That's for Christmas. You made my day. That's for a thank you. My friend. Enjoy. Oh, my goodness. And then this, where my last name's Parrett, so I found a parrot stamp somewhere. This was not a Stampin' Up. That's Stampcraft brand. Here's this is a little chalk, and you could do things with your chalk and get it wet and take a little Q-tip and do a little, get real creative with your cards that you made. These are corners. See that heart when it's stamped? And I would save these to use them again. I don't even hardly send cards anymore, but when you spend that much time, I'll tell you what, Lila T's, she stamps and sends me things. Look, tea is a cup of life. And Lila T's, I have all the cards she's ever sent me. And little by little, day by day, friends and flowers grow that way. Now this one went with that little by little set that I just showed you. Right here. So this would go in with these, and then you'd have all the stuff that grows, the gardens, the flowers, with your little pail and your pot. See, you would put the flowers in the pot, the tulips or the daisies or whatever, and then you had your branch that you could stamp off and put your bird house and your bird nest. It looks like I traded out that stamp. This should be right there, but it looks like I used a verse there. Probably because I got tired of using little by little, day by day. Oh, look at this. This went with it too. This is the wheelbarrow that goes with that. So see, these go with that, and you could just do your whole little garden scene. And here's another. It's simple pleasures are life's greatest treasures. And look at the little picket fence, and you could stamp it all across. And oh, just so cute. These are some random ones. We have, actually this one isn't random. This goes with that little by little. That's a sunflower. This is, you could just emboss this and make like several different colors and cut them out and put them on one sheet of paper, or they could all be the same color, all embossed. A friend is someone who reaches for your hand and touches your heart. Oh, the bear set. Hang on. This, I don't know if I have the bear set. Did I already show? Here it is. Here's part of it. This little bear. This is another one of my first sets. Never gonna get rid of it. That or the snowman. These were my first two sets. And you would take this bear, and he had all kinds of accessories with him. There's a telephone. Back in the day, we used to have telephones. And then these were some kid ones that the kids would enjoy a lot more than what Mom had. And then look at this one. This one's real fancy. I fell in love with that one too, because I love to send letters. Look at that postmark one. And look at that old pen with the ink, the old typewriter, stamp. Remember the pointing hand, and that's a quill there, or not a quill, but a pen nib, a nib. And then these are just little ones that you could just randomly use for anything. Anything. Butterfly, candy, nest, cupcake, cake, flower, bells, balloons, apple, star. You could just do anything. Look at this. It's a dinner party. Make an invitation. Okay, Christmas is upon us. And Thanksgiving. So there's a come let us adore him stamp. There's a reindeer. Oh my goodness. This is like going back in time. Here's the bear's honey pot. Oh, here's the, I think the whole set fell out somewhere. Gotta find his. So the bear has the little bow, a little flower, a little kiss. Actually, I think that's separate. Little paw print, and the little honey pot. I mean, I have so many stamps. We could be here all night, probably. This one is give thanks at Thanksgiving time. You can send out little appreciation. Tell people how you are thankful for them. I'm thankful for you in my life. Something like that. Oh, this one went the bear. I love you very much. This would be a corner stamp. I can't stop. Look at this one. This was another one of my favorites. The bear you would put him in the wagon, or I could have a wagon of gifts, or the dolls could be in the wagon, and it says happiness is in the journey. This is just too much. Bringing back too many memories. And I keep seeing sets that I used a lot. This was another one. I used to get together with my girlfriends and we would just make cards and share each other's stamps, two-step stamping. So you would do this part and then you would add your little flourish on, or some leaves onto flowers around the edges. And oh my goodness, so fun, so fun. Put that back. I can't believe that set, I mean, those stamps. This is the birdhouse with the bird nest. Look at the bird. Let me open it. He's on his back. With the bird. And the branch again. Here's the branch with the bird. You would stamp him onto the branch. Oh, I can barely take looking at these. It's so much memories. 20 years ago. This one is another really cute one. Friendship is a work of heart. Thanks a million. Home is where you hang your heart. And if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. I think that's a good one to stop it on. I could just go on and on. I'm not even close to being done. There's another one I got at the first because it was cheaper. It's called the Country Angel. That's cornucopia. Season's greetings. Sometimes I'd put those out on the envelope. Let me show you the angel. Here's the angel, the country angel. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all of thy ways. Well, guys, that's not even it at all. I got a ton more I could show you. It could go on and on. And I have oh my goodness. I have a tote that has twice as many as these in it. So if you're interested in stamping up, just email me at SheriiParrett@gmail.com. SheriiParrett@gmail.com, and I'll put some information in the description. Thank you guys for watching. No idea what all you actually saw as I take this off. Don't want to, that's my table full. And I am going to exit if I can remember how. And you guys have a good evening.